There's two systems. We have 3 heat exchangers in the penthouse that do the hot water for the VAV boxes, reheat coils, and fan coil units. Then on the 4th floor, there's another heat exchanger that does strictly the glycol. The only place there's glycol in the building is for the overhang radiation on Binney Street and the ambulance ramp. In the 4th floor mechanic room, it's actually the underside of 5 against the existing building. There's a radiation loop out back there.
What about the snow melt? Are those glycol? The snow melt?
Those are glycol. The 2 heaters in the plenum,
Yeah.
the intake plenum, those are glycol.
They all glycol, okay.
Everything outside is glycol. So again, you get the 2 unit heaters in the plenum, outside on 4, and then the overhangs.
They didn't heat the sidewalks, did they?
No, they didn't do sidewalks. And on the 2nd floor, all the returns from the 2nd floor go downstairs to the condensate pump in the tunnel. And there's a heat exchanger in CP1 down there. So they run any water through their heat exchanger on the condensate pump before it goes back to the system, just to pick up any heat before they dump the condensate back to Maytemp. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. There's just VAV boxes on the floors, radiant panels, and a couple fan coil units in the stairwells on the hot water side. There's no water makeup to the glycol system on the 4th floor. There's a chemical feeder. And then both systems have coupon racks and shot feeders. So that's pretty much it. If you want to, we'll take a walk. We'll start up in the penthouse.
As the liquid level depletes, it's going to be replaced with glycol.
Yeah, there's pressure switches on the chemical feeder. So when it drops below a certain PSI, but it shouldn't, but if it does, it will make up.
But it's going to make it up
Straight glycol.
Okay.
It's actually 40%.
Oh, it's pre-mixed.
It's pre-mixed. It's in the tank up there.
Okay, cool.
There's a tank full up there in the feeder.
Okay.
55-gallon drum, or?
It's no, it's in the feeder itself.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about 50 gallons, I think.
Okay.
That tank is clear from what I remember, right? You could say it.
Yeah, it's a white tank,
It's like clear.
white poly tank.
What's 40% good for temperature?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure, Dave, but I believe it's minus.
20.
I was going to say it's around minus 20, I believe, somewhere around that area.
Never freeze up. Okay, good.
No.
Not around here.
Yeah, colder around
Each floor has its own shut-off valves, balancing valves, outside the shafts, and then every VAV box has a shut-off valves and a balancing valve. So it's pretty straightforward. The hot water starts in the shaft up behind the elevators. Okay, it runs from 10 down to 4. It cuts across 4. It picks up 1 VAV box in the elevator lobby on 4. And then it goes down this back shaft over here, right behind this wall. So it goes from 4 down to the sub-basement.
Cool.
And some of those shafts, you get a little access panel, you gotta go in and you can see the piping and stuff like that. I did see,
The shafts are closed. All the valves are outside the shaft walls.
I think he's probably talking about the shafts in the corner that get you in the back behind the elevators.
yeah,
Your rise that goes up behind
Yeah,
the
there's-
elevators.
Oh, but behind the toilet rooms, there's a couple
Yes,
stainless
yeah.
steel access doors there. Yes, and that will get you into the riser.
is there any unit heaters in there also, or?
Behind there,
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I think there's valves for radiant panels in those little accesses.
there's heat in those. There's fin tube on was it 4-6 actually. So on here, I believe every other floor has radiation. Every floor doesn't have radiation in that back corner, but I think it was 6, 9, or 6, 8, and 10.
Okay.
And that access door it's like on the shower wall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
You have to get the patient out of the shower before you can go
Yes,
in there.
yes.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
There are 2 unit heaters down the oil tank room, but those come off the hot water system. And the other 2 unit heaters in the outdoor plenum come off the glycol. There's only 4 unit heaters on the job.
Cool.
Your shot feeder and coupon rack for the hot water system on the back wall.
Cool.
And it's pretty much,
That's it.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Comes out of the heat exchangers, runs across A through 3, and runs down over the big duct and goes down the shaft behind the elevator, elevator shafts there. And it goes down to 4, runs across 4, and then it goes down the other shaft. Now, like I said, there's fan coils. There's a fan coil unit on 11, 6, 2, and 1.
Okay.
And the stairwells.
Okay.
That's where the fan coils are.
Both stairwells or just the outside stairwell?
Both. The one on 11 is right here at the bottom
Yeah.
of the before you go up outside.
Okay.
Right here on this
Yeah.
level. The one in the basement is in the stairwell on Binney Street.
Okay.
Then there's another one going down the ambulance ramp. There's a small set of stairs that go from the
Yeah,
ambulance
yeah,
ramp
yeah.
down to the basement.
Okay.
There's one in there by that outside door. And then the one at the ambulance ramp where you walk over the sidewalk and come in up to the second floor.
Yeah.
There's
All
one right there.
Okay.
Pretty much where your fan coils are.
All right.
And the water makeup for the hot water system is right over here. Here's your water makeup.
So that's it in a nutshell. Done.
I mean, that's it pretty much. Again, the hot water system is just for the reheats and VAV box and fan coils,
Yeah.
and the glide coils for all the exterior. There's two snow melts in the plenum,
Okay.
and then under the overhangs of the building on Binney Street, the ambulance ramp, and on 5 in this area right here, the pie shape,
Yeah.
under 5, on the side of 5. We can go down to 4. These two gray lines right here, these are the takeoffs for the fan coil unit right in the stairwell here. That's the only takeoff on this floor. Right up here, there's 2.5 lines.
Yeah, yeah.
They come off and they pick up a fan coil unit. Other than that, it's a straight shot down the shaft with just to the floors. So there isn't a whole lot of hot water on here on the mechanical room floors. That outside here plenum along the wall, then they just kind of snake their way through. And then same place the chill waters go, the hot waters head over to that shaft right over there. So the two hot waters come out of the shaft right behind the elevator. They're right up on top of the chill water lines. And then they run over right behind the electrical room over here and they go down the shaft. I'll show you over here where they head down. Now right here's your DP. Right up here, if you look above that roof, that's your DP valve and the sensors right up there, those 2-inch gray. That's where the hot water DP is.
DP valve, what's it? The DP transducer sensor for the pumps? Is that with it
The
too?
DP is all over there. Yeah, yeah. Everything's right over there above that stairwell. Behind this wall right here is the other shaft. This goes from 4 down to the sub-basement. So this is the other shaft.
The other.
Yeah. There's the one takeoff right here on 4 for this box right there. What's that?
That's the takeoff for out there, right?
Yeah, that's the only takeoff on this floor for hot water.
Where's the other ones up? It looks like white ones up
The other what?
The gray pipe.
The gray pipes come over, they're right above this duct right there. You can see them right there when they go into the shaft.
The white ones? That is right.
Yeah, the back-to-back 90s. You can see right there where they go into the shaft, they're gray.
I just wanted to make sure I saw
Yep. Yep.
I assume they were.
Yeah, that's them. Now, if you want, we can look at the glide call, and when we go down to 2, we can look at them both instead of coming back up.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
All right, here's your 2.
It's cooling, so if you get thirsty when you're in the mechanical room.
Here's your 2 glide call pumps. These are your 2 drives for the glide call pumps. They're calling them hot water pumps 5 and 6, but they're glide call. All right, then there's your glide call feeder right there. Your short feeder and your coupon rack for your glide call system. Here's the 2 unit heaters we're talking about that they're calling snow melts. Right over in the plenum there, in the intake plenum. There's one above your head.
These are those baby ones.
There's one down there.
Set.
Can you show us where the shut-offs?
On the floors?
Yeah.
Okay, on 6 through 11, they're behind those behind those access panels.
Oh, the ones on the wall there?
Yep.
Okay.
And then well, I'll show you when we get downstairs. In this shaft here, I'll show you where they are.
Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now, in the corridor,
Yep.
the glass corridor, I noticed when I was doing the walkthrough, some have one valve, some have two valves. Is that typical? It could have either one. Or there two sets of shut-offs each. You know, the overlook where you're looking into the main building, that glass corridor.
Yeah.
Are there two shut-offs there, or just one?
No, everything has 2 shut-offs.
No, I should say two supplies. I know they have a supply and a return.
Yep.
Okay. But on that whole length there, some floors have one set on this end and one set on that end, or is there one that feeds the whole roof?
No, there's a main set of valves at the riser that does the whole floor. Is that what you're asking? And then there are individual valves to isolate like certain wings.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know the glass is that overlooks the main building, 6 through 11.
Yep.
On one of the floors, I found one set of shutoffs.
Yep.
For the Belimo valve that serves the whole length.
Okay. Yep.
Now, some floors have 2.
Yeah, it was
One
different floors had different valves. They broke it up differently as far as where the wings go.
Yeah.
If you want, we can look at the drawing. We can downstairs. I'll show you where they
No,
are.
like you said, I'm pretty sure I saw what was out there, but I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, some of them they isolated coming down in front of the glass against this building.
And it broke right,
and it broke, and then it went straight. Yeah.
And then others, they started on the left and came all the way down, and some came from the right and all the way down that way.
Right. Every floor isn't really typical. I mean, they were close.
Okay.
But 6 through 10, for the most part, were typical.
One of the floors, one of the ones are fine to get at, but the other one sucked. You can't get up in there. It's in between the ductwork and top one on top. And you can probably get to the shut-off, but to change the valve.
Right. I mean, those floors were tight.
I know they were.
They were tight. All right, here's the heat exchanger for the glycol. This is the only heat exchanger on this floor. Again, it's the same thing, shell and tube. And this is your only one for the glycol, just one for the glycol system. These 2 lines up here, they exit over the steam station, and they pick up that radiation loop below 5. That's exposed on the other side of the wall, the pie shape. So those 2 lines right up there going through the wall, that picks up the fin tube under 5. Each loop has a control valve, so the control valve's right up there for this loop. When we get down to 2, I'll show you roughly where the control valves are for each one of those loops. You can see the black wire right here if you stand here, right up on top of the orange 90.
Yeah.
So right in this area right here, the shut-off valves come out of the shaft for the hot water. So right in front of the stairwell. Again, right here, you'll see the duct right in this area right here, right beside the duct. Those 2 risers go up.
I thought we had a grid label. We're not doing 2 yet?
Talking in the wrong shop. The plumbers are the ones that need to worry about the shutoffs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your two glycol lines come out of the back of the shaft this way. So your shut-off valves for your glycol are in this room. I see the tag right there? Where they're hanging?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
2 green tags?
Yeah.
All right, those are your shut-offs for the glycol on this floor. Now what happens is the glycol comes off on this floor, on the 2nd floor, and it picks up the ambulance, the high ambulance bay, radiation, and Binney Street. And then the glycol comes off on the basement level and picks up the low bay of the ambulance ramp.
You said Benny Street, you're talking about the overhang?
Binney Street, the overhang right here on Binney Street, there's radiation that runs along that overhang.
Freezing.
So those lines come out of here, they run down this hallway.
Keep the pedestrians warm.
Yep. So these control valves for the Binney Street are right up in this room right here. The green tag's hanging right there. That green tag. All right, they come through the wall right there. That mark glycol supply and return. They do the top half of Binney Street. Those two lines come up between the plumbers. Those are your two glycol lines that do the top half of Binney Street. The lower half of Binney Street is in the trash room, or the old trash room. I'll show you where those valves are. Now, under this overhang here, there's radiation up there. That's the top part of the ambulance ramp. Those lines come in right above the window here. The DP valve for the glycol system is right up here. What does that say right there? Is that tag? Hot and cold sink? No. But it's right above here is the DP valve for the glycol system.
Okay.
So there's two control valves up here. One is for the lower part of Binney Street, and the other one is the top of the ambulance ramp.
This is what the DP is for the system. It should be labeled.
So again, you have fin tube here on the ramp, Binney Street, and then the overhang of 5. That's pretty much it. Now, back to the hot water system for a minute. Here's the end of the loop right here on the hot water system. This is the end of the loop. Right in this room right here. And there's two 2-inch lines that go off, run across that ceiling, and they go down to the tunnel where CP1 is, the ones that are telling you to go back to the heat exchanger on the condensate pump. This is where they come off. They come off at the end of the loop. They run across that ceiling and they go down to the steam tunnel. And there is a configuration up there. You can bypass that loop if you had to isolate that downstairs. So there is valves that you can swap it and bypass that condensate pump downstairs. But right now, all your returns are going back to the condensate pump. Take a walk downstairs in the basement. I'll show you the bottom of the glycol riser. Obviously, there's two drains at the bottom of the riser. We ran them down the wall so they're accessible. And they'll take care of the glycol riser up to 4. And then the other lines downstairs, I'll show you where they go out to pick up the lower half of the ambulance ramp. Again, the first control valve I showed you over the crack unit was for just a little beyond the door.
Okay.
And then it continues down here and it goes to the wall here, and that's the lower half. That? Never been up there. There's not much room up there. There's no room up there.
I believe that.
I mean, those panels were almost touching the beams coming this way.
Yeah.
It was tight. It was tight. And then there's a couple rows of radiation out here, which the other control valves in there, but they're all labeled what they're feeding.
Cool.
Between this wall and the electrical room, this is the bottom of the hot water riser right here, right behind here. So here's your hot water risers. Your glycol doesn't come down this low, but we'll go into the tunnel, and then we'll go up to basement, and I'll show you where the drains and stuff are for the glycol, and where the glycol goes out. So this is what we got right here. We got the two hot water lines coming back from the second floor, going through the heat exchanger, just headed back out.
Cool. Where the condensate goes back to the power plant, right? And a treadmill.
Yeah, this right here pumps back in the main out into these lines.
Did you guys wind up replacing those sensors because they were in the wrong way?
See that?
The sensors, the inverter sensors, and they wound up replacing those? Because they had to put a new tab on, because the ones that were in there weren't reading?
I don't know about it.
Okay, maybe Charlie knows.
Need was.
Remember Inventors had an issue with their,
No breaks.
where they were putting their taps in to get their
For the
signals?
pH sensor?
Yeah,
Oh, that's right there now.
They found a wet,
Yeah.
yeah, right here.
okay. so
They found a
changed
way
it
to
up.
make it permanently wet.
Okay,
So, yeah, it was in a dry loop, that was the
gotcha,
problem.
yeah, I remember.
The other day when we were talking about the chill water, right where you're standing, there's your two chill water valves right there.
Yep.
We just tied into those.
Yep.
So they just come up straight shut over here, right up the outside of the building. Those are the ones that are the home runs to 11, yeah. Unit heater's out in the vault, the tank vault there.
Yeah, so, those are glycol also?
No, the only thing out there is hot water. The glycols are the other ones up
Oh,
in the
yeah, hot
plumbing.
water over there.
Those are hot water in here. Right here, on the floors that we were talking about, isolation valves outside this wall. All right. Then your glycols are on the back side of the shaft right here. They come down the plumbing closet. Here's your two drains right here for the glycol at the bottom of the riser.
Cool. Good deal.
Now, your lines that feed the lower ramp, they come out of the shaft up here. They run down this hallway. And they penetrate this foundation wall right here. Right above this room is where they exit into the to the ceiling on the lower part of the ambulance ramp. And that control valve is right up here. So all the control valves are inside the building. There's nothing, there aren't any valves or anything out in those ceilings. All the valves are inside the building on your glycol system.
Good.
So you should never have to get up into those
Right, because they're not leaking now.
To the
so why
cylinders.
would they leak
Yeah.
ever?
but the only thing that's out there is radiation and piping.
Cool.
No valves.
Good deal.
No number yet? No number yet?
So that's pretty much, any questions about where anything else goes or?
Good.
So it's only in this room to isolate if you get a leak out in that outside there?
Or you can shut this floor off, same thing. This right here will isolate on your return come back. Your control valve is isolated here. But your two shutoffs for the floors are right in the top of that, right at the bottom of the riser in that room.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way, shut it down there.
Somebody might be in this room.
Yep.